All righty, you are looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium right today. The 16-0 playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Los Angeles Chargers. And why are the Los Angeles Chargers 0-16? Because they suck. 1960, they started off in Los Angeles. Then they went to San Diego. Now they're back in Los Angeles. It don't matter where they're at. They suck. They've been to what? One Super Bowl, ain't won nothing. Los Angeles Chargers. You suck. I love picking on other teams. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there all is going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away. Throw it in the chat box. Usually try to check on the chat box. I give me every 5 or 10 minutes or so. As soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free and fire or what. But plus also, seriously, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might want to be, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So once again, please feel free and fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. Thank you so much. That means the world to me. It really does. Thank you. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Maybe you give this video a thumbs up or share it. That'd be freaking awesome. And then finally, also just a little ways down in the description box. Excuse me. There's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. The one underneath it, I'm an old-time fart. I'm one of them like, get off my lawn, old-time farts. I can't stand change. I like things just the way they were. The link underneath, it's a Twitter link to me. It's always been Twitter, and it'll always be Twitter. Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants you to call it, that's on you, bro. I'm not calling it that. I'm calling it Twitter. It's Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I try to put Giants-related stuff in my Twitter account every day. And then finally, the link on top of it takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants of Gridiron. Very original, I know, basically, because that's the only name I could think of. It's the same thing as my YouTube channel. But my Facebook group, the New York Giants of Gridiron, we just hit the 8,200 plateau today. So we have over 8,200 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And not only do I put stuff in this group, but the members post stuff in this group as well, too. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in this group every day. Right? It's called the New York Giants of Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. With all that stuff said and done now with. Well, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. Down to the nitty gritty. Right now it's Monday, soon to be Tuesday. Got a little over an hour. We got Tuesday, just a couple of days away to the draft. Man, it's just like Christmas morning, right? It's just for me, it would be Christmas, but I mean, whatever, whatever holiday you celebrate, God bless you, But I mean, it's just, man, I love this time of year. It's the anticipation. What are we going to do? And it's always really cool. It's always exciting because when you got, especially when they're talking about they're going to trade up, they're going to stay put, they're going to take that wide receiver, they're going to go back. If they go back, who are they going back to? What are they going to get in return? If they go back, what are they going to get? Who are they going to pick? So it's pretty exciting. The only thing it would be, see, at least the second day you got a couple picks. You know what I mean? So you got round 2, and then you can wait. You know, and then you get round 3. Here, I mean, unless they jump back into the first round or something like that, it's like, you know, and then, you know, if they pick at 6, right? So then, you know, the pick 6 comes and, you know, they take it and you know what you got and all that. You know what your shiny new toy is for the team and everything like that. Then you got to wait pretty much till the next day. So you see what other teams pick and all that and everything. But as I said, unless for some reason the Giants, you know, some reason jump back into the first round, I don't really see that happening. You know, we have too many holes to fill. I mean, I could see the Giants maybe if they doing what they did like last year. They you know, hey, you got to appreciate that with Shane, right? We jumped up. We jumped up twice, right? Apparently, they had some thoughts or whatever. You know, that's because you know. You know, that the 4 wide receivers went bam, 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 bam right in front of the Giants. It's like, right. But then I guess they had some kind of, you know, I don't know, internal information saying that, you know, there was another club that might quite possibly try to jump in front of the Giants and take Banks. So Shane moved up to get him. Gotta love it. Then they got John Michael Schmitz, right? And they got to the 3rd round, and you know, he's like looking at Hyatt. It's like, dude's still there. That's the guy that had 37 touchdowns in that one game against Alabama. Guy's still there, you know. Pick after pick after pick kept going, and he's like, he's still there, right? So then he's like, you know, when's it going to cost? You know, or you know, just 2 picks, you know. And they, you know, they were talking to McVay, right, of the Rams, and he said, yeah. Move up, we'll move back. We'll take you 2 picks, and boom, you get yourself your guy. And they took Hyde. So the nice thing, you know, with Shane, he's not afraid, you know, and that's the thing. That, you know, that's the thing. I mean, unless how do we put this? If you're knocking on the Super Bowl door and you need like a wide receiver, hey. Right, that's all you need, right? And there's somebody there, and you can trade up. You trade your 1st and your 3rd, and maybe even a 3rd from the next season. So if you got to jump up to grab that wide receiver, do it. If that's all you need, do it. You know, but then then I could see trading decent capital, you know, a 1st and a 3rd and maybe something else just to jump up, just to get that one guy to send you into the Super Bowl, right? But I mean, now we got holes, okay? So without you know trading a 1st and a 2nd or something, you know, because we need those premium picks to fill those holes in. But the one thing, I mean, if you can trade you like just saying like a 2nd and a 5th. Because a lot of time, well, I mean, your 5th, you can certainly knock it out of the park, but most often than not, if you pick somebody in the 5th round, they might be a you know, depth piece, maybe somebody for special teams or something like that. But if you see somebody like there in the 2nd round or in the 3rd round, and it's like, we really want that guy, go get him. Go, you know what I mean? I'm not saying in the 2nd round trade your 2nd, your 3rd, and your 4th. You know, to jump up to, you know, to grab one guy or something like that. But if you can trade your 5th round pick and a 2nd round pick or something like that and jump up a couple spots and grab that guy, grab him. You know, oops, sorry, buddy. My dog Randy's at my feet. Yeah, go get him. Go. I mean, instead of just sitting there, yeah, well, fall to us. Yeah, that's the guy we're going to take. The guy, yeah. We still got 7 picks before us, but that's the guy we're going to take. No, he's probably not going to get to you. Go get him. Right? So I like that. I like that about Shane. I mean, if it's somebody you got conviction and you really think this guy is going to be great for your team and he's going to be a huge asset and all this stuff, go get him. And I like that. I like that a lot. I mean, unless you got 4 or 5 picks before you and there's like, 8, 9 guys there. We'd love to get any. You know what I mean? I said, but if there's somebody there, go get them. Don't wait because somebody might leapfrog in, take them or something like that. Go get them. So that's why I like what Shane did, especially last season. A couple, real good guys, Banks and Hyatt, and hopefully they'll be with the Giants for a long time to come. And he traded an extra pick or so to get it, but he went and he got the guy. So I'm fine with that. So I said, so we got, we obviously, we got holes. But as I keep saying, let's see what we got in this draft, next year's free agency, and next year's draft. And we should really, shouldn't have too many holes, hopefully, after next year's draft. I said, because, if things work out next year in free agency, we should have some money, a little bit, right? It's always fluid. It's going to, we see whatever money we have in 2025, that's going to constantly keep changing. And you don't even know what the salary cap is for 2025. But if Waller were to retire, might save some money. I mean, who knows if we let Daniel Jones go, right? Or whatever, we might save some money there. So you don't know, but if we can grab a couple real good picks in the draft here, right? Get a couple good guys in free agency next year, and then in the draft next season, get another 2 guys or so, real good guy, 2 or 3 guys, we should be pretty close to, having a complete, team. We always, need your depth and all of that and everything. But, the holes that we have, and we need another cornerback. We could probably use some safety help. Somebody interior defensive line, definitely. Another edge rusher, especially if it's Azeez's last season with the Giants. We need another edge rusher. Wide receiver, quarterback, tight end. I want this season to finish all the smoke clear and the dust settle and all of that, and then we can step back, right, and look at the offensive line, right, and see what Brasillo thinks, and see how they played out and all of that before we see, if there's somebody in the 5th or 6th round this year, it looks like it may be a real good swing tackle. We can develop them or something, like Brasillo thinks he can develop them or something like that. Or there's somebody, interior offensive lineman, that can maybe play all 3 positions or something like that. Hey, go for it. Yeah, but don't put a premium, on one of those first 3 picks that you got this season on an offensive lineman. Yeah. But I want to see what, after the smoke clears and everything like that, what do we got on the offensive line? Where's Evan Neal going to be? Can he stay healthy? Right? Is Illuminor going to be the tackle? We don't know. Like I said, but we got like about at least 7 that I'm looking at. But I mean, that's very, right? I mean, if you get 2 or 3 in this year's draft, right? 2 or 3 next year's draft. I mean, I said we have a little bit of money next year. I'm not saying we're going to go spend $30 million on another Brian Burns per season, right? But I mean, we can certainly get a couple nice players in next year's draft, next year's free agency. So we should be pretty close. I'm not saying all the holes will be filled, but we should have a majority of them, I would think, filled. So first things first thing we got here. Now, if we go and we got 5 Giants whose futures are unknown leading up to the NFL draft. Yep. And let's see here. Red. All right. The first one, we got Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan. Yep. Absolutely. Because, we got Daniel Jones and we got Drew Lock. If you draft a quarterback, right, they're gonna have to have 53. They're gonna have to have 3 of the guys on the 53, right? That means Tommy Chicken Cutlet will go on the practice squad, right? Because you're not putting Drew Lock on the practice squad. You're not putting Daniel Jones on the practice squad. And if you draft a quarterback, you're not putting him on the practice squad. So you're going to have 3 guys, right? Parmesan will be on the practice squad, and he might get plucked, maybe, another team might pluck him. He's got some experience. He's shown the ability to win. So, but his future is uncertain because we got four quarterbacks. Four quarterbacks ain't making the 53. That's not happening, and he would be the odd man out. So it's from G-Men HQ. Yes, that's right. Unfortunately, Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan, a.k.a. Tommy DeVito, is on the hot seat leading up to Thursday night's draft. He brought so much life to the organization this past season and revitalized the team. Absolutely. Yes, he did, without question. Without the magic he brought to MetLife, the Giants might have not won a single game after Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor went down with their injuries. DeVito played better than anyone else ever could have imagined he would have. Yep, absolutely. And let's not forget, I believe he was quarterbacking in that Jet game. Dable didn't want him to throw the ball. Let's see here. He did not want him to throw the football. Jets versus Giants. 2-3. All right, here we go. ESPN. Let's go to box score. They had Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan. He was 2 for 7. He had -1 yards. He was sacked 2 times. So, but they just didn't let him throw the football. Saquon Barkley ran the ball 36 times. At least, my God, we had, what the hell did we have? As a team, we hardly had any passing yards at all. But they just did not want Tommy to throw the ball. He was, but Saquon carried the rock 36 times. We had 52 rushes for 203 yards. So we got a lot of yards rushing. And somehow we wound up losing to Zach Wilson, which is pretty embarrassing. But, I said they did not let him throw the football. Now, he didn't start the game, but he went in right after, I believe, after Tyrod got injured. But I said, look, if Graham Gano doesn't miss that short field goal because of his leg being injured, the Giants win that game. They don't lose it in overtime. Or if the Giants don't give up like back-to-back, like 37-yard plays or something like that in the final, like whatever it was, minute to get the Jets to tie the score, to send it in overtime so we could wind up losing it. He was almost the quarterback of a 4th victory. But he will be the odd man out in the quarterback room without question. I'm rather shocked if we don't draft a quarterback. All right. The next guy. Well, I don't know. They got punter Jane. They got the Scottish Hammer here. I don't know. I don't see that happening. They got the Scottish Hammer. Jamie Gillen is also on this list. Are the Giants going to draft a punter? I don't think so. No, probably not. But they could look to an undrafted free agent route to bring in some competition. Why? Because the Giants hired a new special teams coordinator, Michael Gabriel. He's no stranger to MetLife, coming over from the Jets. The Giants want to build on all 3 units of the team, and special teams needs a lot of help. No, it doesn't need that much help. Scottish Hammer did pretty good last year, I thought. They have already moved on from one of their best special teams players in Cam Brown, and they brought in players like Isaiah McKenzie, Matthew Adams. But Gillen may be in for some competition. Gillen has been inconsistent in his time with Big Blue. He has a hammer of a leg, but every Giants fan is tired of watching him be solid 1 week, but then rough the next. I thought he did pretty well last season, just to tell you the truth. So, but, it certainly does not mean, to bring in like an undrafted free agent punter for some competition. Brings out the best in everybody, But one of the things is that obviously, but when you got somebody who's got that kind of a talent, that kind of a leg and everything like that, that's why a good special teams coach good coach, right, is there to develop that, bring it out. But absolutely, I mean, that would not be a bad idea at all. Obviously, to bring it really, I mean, unless it's Patrick Mahomes or somebody or Tom Brady or something like that. You don't ever want to walk into a season, here you go, Patrick. The quarterback job's yours. I mean, no, you always want some competition in there. Even if the Scottish Hammer did well last season, I thought I think it was 2 years ago. He kicked a lot of balls like this, a lot of line drives that would come back, be brought back. I think last season wasn't that bad. I mean, the punt return coverage was not that bad. We gave up that one touchdown in preseason against the Lions, but other than that, it wasn't too bad. But you always want, obviously, you definitely want some competition with anybody. Anybody, but elevate their play. As I said, you just don't want to walk into the season and just, here you go, your job's yours. Just you go off to the side and punt some balls, whatever you want to do. Yeah, bring in some competition for them. Sure, absolutely. All right, the next guy they got is Ryder Anderson. They said whose future is in doubt going into the draft here. Ryder Anderson is a third-year defensive lineman out of the University of Indiana who originally went undrafted before being signed by the Giants back in 2022. After a season in which he appeared in 7 games, notched 2 sacks, Anderson didn't appear in a single game this past year. Whether playing as an interior defensive lineman or an edge rusher, Anderson couldn't get onto the field. He did bulk up. He got bigger last season without question. He added some nice size to himself, that's for sure. After adding edge rusher Brian Burns and an interior defensive lineman Jaelan Phillips, Anderson finds himself on the hot seat in terms of sticking around. He was on the practice squad last season, but it wouldn't be a surprise to see him released this summer. Interior-wise, Shane has Dexter Lawrence, Nacho, Phillips, Jordan Riley. On the edge, we got Burns, Kayvon, and Azeez Ojulari. Giants will continue to add one, if not both positions in the draft and the undrafted period directly after. Shane will give new Giants Shane Bowen some weapons going into next season. In a room that's crowded full of great young talent and proven veteran players, will Anderson be able to keep a spot? Well, we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Well, they got this here. They got, I don't know. Some of this I don't agree with. It says 5 New York Giants whose futures are unknown leading up to the NFL draft. And they got Eric Gray. He just got drafted last year. I don't. Shane drafted him. So I'd have a hard time. I mean, unless he did just doing that horrible, I would be rather shocked if his future's uncertain. But in this article, they got second-year running back Eric Gray isn't going anywhere. But as this writing, he's RB2 on the roster. Is that going to be the case after the NFL draft comes and goes? It's hard to say. But we have a feeling Gray is going to find himself buried on the depth chart. That's because we expect Shane to find Singletary some help in the middle of the draft, potentially as early as the 3rd round. Giants have reportedly shown interest in guys like Benson, Braylon Allen, Audric Estime, and others. From our chair, landing either of these guys would be a step up from what we've been able to see from Gray with the ball in his hands. Gray struggled to find any form in his limited carries in 23, and he was brutal to us. He's brutal. You ain't gonna have to worry about seeing him on special teams. I highly doubt that. But if drafting a running back in the 4th round, I'm all for that. Absolutely. Add some good quality depth to the running back room. Oh yeah, absolutely. Then they got Darius Slayton. Oh yeah, he's this guy. He's the big one here. Yep. After much consideration, we've decided to close things up with Darius Slayton. Not so much that he's going to be seated by a rookie or the G-men will release him, but because there's a chance we could see the veteran wideout traded come the draft. In case you missed it, Slayton is looking for an extension. Well, he might still be looking for an extension. Right? With Slayton skipping voluntary offseason program, rumors have been flying that the Giants could look to trade him. Slayton has led New York in receiving 4 of the past 5 seasons. That's included his posting a career-high 770 yards receiving in 2023. Entering the last year of his contract, it's understandable that the speedster wants a new deal from Shane and company. However, It's not looking likely that Shane will make his wide receiver happy, with New York potentially bringing in a star wideout with the number 6 pick, plus also having young talent like Jalen Hyatt and Wan'Dale Robinson. It could open the door from the front office to send Slayton to a new team. Plenty of fans don't want to see it happen, but it's something we can't rule out ahead of the NFL draft. And I said, I mean, the one thing is that, if he gets a new contract, I can see his point. I could certainly see his point. But I mean, if the Giants are going to, consider extending him a year and maybe boosting his contract up or whatever, I said the thing is, if they draft a wide receiver at number 6, and you got Wan'Dale on the slot, and you got Jalen Hyatt over there, where's Slayton at? He's on the sideline, right? So you just boosted this dude's contract, right? Extended his contract for a year, and now he's sitting on the sideline. Doesn't make a lot of sense. So either he might become trade bait. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. We will have to wait and see. All right, next. What do we got? Giants are pushed to make a late free agency splash on a former $61 million defensive back. Well, he's used to safety here. This is from heavy.com. Like it or not, the Giants have an uncomfortable number of holes to fill heading into the 2024 NFL Draft. There are roster needs at quarterback, wide receiver, cornerback, offensive line. I don't know where they're seeing offensive line. We just brought 3,000 offensive linemen in. So I don't know where the holes are at on the offensive line, because the 3,000 guys we brought in to play the offensive line haven't been plugged in yet to see what they can do. So I don't know where the holes are at on the offensive line. I said we have roster needs at safety. I certainly think we could that question could certainly use if not take a safety early on, draft a safety, whatever, get one in the 4th or 5th round, somewhere around there, just add some depth at safety. Absolutely. Running back, I could see once again another late round pick on a running back. Sure. But let's not forget, we only got 6 and tight end 2. And there's no way the Giants can trust in rookies to bolster each and every one of those areas of concern. Instead of late free agency splash or 2 could prove necessary in rounding out the depth charts after the draft, and one position with a ton of available talent on the open market is safety. There is. Now, it's also one of those things too, right? With the safety, there's still some guys out there, but that could be something after the draft's over, or that could be something after the draft's over with and undrafted free agency's over. Right, then you can start looking around and see if there's any, talent out there that you want to maybe bring in. But this is one guy here, right, that they're talking about, Justin Simmons. Oddly, right, he's coming from the Broncos. It says here, Simmons is as a veteran the Giants should target once we move past the draft. Voicing. With Xavier McKinney now in Green Bay, New York could use a safety. Simmons could take on the deep or free safety role for the Giants, and he still has quality player. He's still a quality player, having been a second-team All-Pro and or Pro Bowler in each of the last 5 seasons. While Big Blue did sign Jalen Mills already this offseason, Mills was more of a strong safety, slot cornerback type of defensive back last year in New England. Simmons, that is the one thing with Simmons. He's not somebody you're going to be building a team with for years to come or nothing like that. He's over 30 years old. How old? 30? He's going to be 31 this year? Yeah. And November 19th, he'll be 31. So, I mean, he's just, he's somebody you can, if you are going to sign him, it'll be for a year or 2. Nothing very long. Let's see. He was a 3rd-round pick. Right? He's quietly become one of the more consistent free safeties in the game with 108 total starts over his career. He has 30 interceptions, 64 passes defense, 5 forced fumbles, and over 600 tackles, and 19 tackles for loss. respected vet also served as a team captain during his time with the Denver Broncos. Then we have here. How could the Giants afford Justin Simmons? The first thought that comes to mind when hearing that a player of Simmons' talent level has been connected to the Giants is the price tag. After all, the G-men aren't exactly flush with cap space right now. Over the cap estimates approximately $5.45 million in available funds, and Simmons once signed a $61 million contract in Denver. There are a couple of factors to take into account when debating whether or not the Giants can afford Simmons. One, the safety market is not what it used to be, and Simmons turns 31 in November. McKinney signed for top of the market money because he's entering his prime. Simmons' eventual deal will likely be more in the line of a veteran like Kevin Baird, who's at 31. However, the Chicago Bears awarded Baird, I believe it would be, $15 million over 2 seasons this spring, with an average annual salary of $7.5 million and just $7.39 million guaranteed. Even if Simmons gets a slightly more than that in 2024, it looks like he'll be taking a significant pay cut from his previous $15.25 million salary. I mean, there's all different ways what they could do, if they wanted to bring Justin Simmons in. Now, according to Spot Track, anyway, they have his annual salary. They have him signing just what they have, right? It's a 2-year, $22.2 million deal. So basically $11.1 million a season. That's what they have his annual salary to be. And basically that makes a lot of sense because he's going to be turning 31. You ain't going to sign this guy to a 4-year deal. Just a 2-year deal. Maybe 2, maybe you can get out after 1, something like that, right? But see, last season, with the let's see, he graded out a 67.9 according to Pro Football Focus, right? 67.9 overall. Overall, he's graded out really, really well. Let me tell you, even his rookie season with Denver. He's played his entire career with Denver, right? 2016, his rookie season, graded at 75.3. He is 74.5. 2019, he graded out a 90.7 overall. So 77.4, 74.8, a 70.7. I said this past season, 67.9. Still playing at a high level, right? The thing is, it's like with somebody like that, it's just, does Shane want to spend, whatever, $10, $11 million a season on this guy who's not going to be around the long haul? I don't know. I don't know. I would like to see us draft somebody or, maybe an undrafted free agent or bring in some veteran help who's really cheap, who might only be here for another year or so, or something like that. So between this draft, next year's free agency, and then next year's draft, get another safety in somewhere along the line. It's also, you can kind of look at it too. Let's see what Penei can do, and let's see what Belton can do. If we got some major issues there, we can address that next season, right? So maybe this season, we let's not forget about Javarius Owens. He didn't even see hardly sort of field for all last season, right? So we don't forget about him. But also, let's not forget, we drafted him late last season, 7th round. Maybe we draft a safety in the 6th round this season, get some more depth. I'm not saying you're going to be drafting a safety in the 6th round. He's going to wind up turning out to be Troy Polamalu or nothing, but young depth. But let's see what Bowen can get out of maybe Penei and Belton, right? Who knows? Crazier things can happen. Maybe Azeez Simmons, he turns into a safety. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe you don't know what he's going to do with Azeez Simmons. Is he going to be a pass rusher? We'll bring him in on pass rushing downs. They have visions of putting that dude as a safety. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But we can certainly use a without question. Certainly use help at safety without question. But bringing in a guy who's going to be 31 years old, who's only going to be here for a year or two, and you're going to pay him like maybe $10, $11 million a season, I don't see that happening. Giants could put their, if you're going to pay $10 million a season to a guy, let's pay $10 million or 11, whatever, to a guy who's going to be here for a little while, instead of just somebody who's going to be a torch holder here for a year or so, and then they'll be gone. So I don't see that happening. All right, and we got next. We got all kinds of stuff going on here. All right. What a Giants trade down could look like at the NFL draft after GM sparks possibilities. Ooh. All right, let's see here. So, if they're talking about the quarterbacks now, if all the quarterbacks are gone by 6, the Giants' interest in a trade down could increase as suitors for the picks decrease as well too. So I mean, it's like if when pick 6 rolls around, if 4 of those quarterbacks are gone, I don't know if anybody from Denver or the Raiders or the Vikings are going to want to jump up to number 6 to draft a wide receiver or something. I don't see that happening. And none of them are jumping up to draft Penix or Knicks or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So the chances are the Giants trading back at number 6, from number 6 to go and trading back, if there's not a quarterback there, we'll have to wait and see. But in this article, here's from the New York Post, they talk about trade partners. They talk about maybe the Falcons at number 8. They said the Falcons might want to maybe get themselves a wide receiver. That would make some sense. They got Captain Kirk, right? Kirk Cousins, right? So let's get this guy a good, solid stud of a wide receiver. So you can maybe see the Falcons maybe wanting to jump up to number 6 to draft one of these wide receivers. It says the Falcons, are they considering the Green Bay model of drafting a quarterback to sit behind $180 million acquisition, Kirk Cousins? May and McCarthy need development time, and the earliest moving on from Cousins makes sense is 2026. The Jets, crosstown rivals, made a second-round trade in 2022. The Jets are in a win-now mode and could want their choice of pass catchers. Yep, absolutely. The Vikings, a strong candidate to package their first 2 rounders to move in front of the Giants. There's also a scenario where the Vikings can't land any of the first 3 quarterbacks selected, but like the 4th option more than the Giants. In that case, the Vikings might wait until number 6 to strike because the cost is slightly less than trading up to number 4 or 5. Trading with the Broncos, which is also going to lead me to my Zach Wilson little thing here going on. But anyway, the Broncos. They got picks number 12, and then the Raiders at number 13. The same rationale as for the Vikings, only without an extra first rounder in their arsenal and with more motivation to be active and jump over Minnesota. The Bills at number 28. I don't know. Somehow they think the Giants are going to trade all the way back with the Bills at number 28. I don't think so. But as unlikely as it is for the Giants to drop this far down the round, a deal between Shane and Brandon Beane is never out of the question, especially not after the Bills traded Stephon Diggs, creating a need for a number 1 wide receiver. That is true. I don't know what on earth the Bills could possibly give the Giants for the Giants to fall all the way back to number 28, go from number 6 to number 28. Let's see here. So the trade returns. What is the number 6 pick worth? Here are recent trades for number 6 as the 2 most recent trades that involve teams coming up for quarterbacks, one in either direction. Shane said it's probably true that teams trade more assets as tax, a little extra premium. You're trading up to get a quarterback. Absolutely. So 2023, the Lions traded number 6 and a 3rd rounder to the Cardinals for number 12, a second rounder, and a fifth rounder. All right. 2021, the Eagles traded number 6 and a fifth rounder to the Dolphins for number 12 and a fourth rounder and a future first rounder. 2018, the Buccaneers traded number 7 and a seventh rounder to the Bills for number 12 and 2 second rounders. The Rams traded pick number 6 to the Cowboys for number 14 and a second rounder. Browns traded number 6 to the Falcons in 2011. The Browns traded pick number 6 to the Falcons for pick number 27, a second rounder, a fourth rounder, and a future first and fourth rounder. So you want to look at something like that, like what the Bills, for whatever, in this article, they're saying, well, the Bills, because they traded away Stephon Diggs, might want a nice new shiny toy, one of these stud wide receivers for Josh Allen to play around with. So for the Bills to go from 28 to 6, they're kind of relating it with the Browns. The Browns had pick number 6 in the 2011 draft. They traded for the Falcons, basically the Julio Jones trade, right? The Falcons were sitting at number 27. So the Falcons traded pick number 27, a second round pick, a fourth rounder, and a future first and fourth rounder. So basically the Falcons traded 2 firsts and a second and 2 fourths to jump up to number 6. So that's basically about what the Bills would have to trade this year's first, this year's second, and another and next year's first, and then 2 fourth rounders to go. So I'm not sure if Shane would even do something like that. That seems I don't like that, but I'll have to wait and see. Because the thing is, you also know there's a good chance that the Bills' first round pick from next season is going to be pretty low in the first round. There's a good chance. Good chance the Bills ain't going to be drafting top 10 next season. So in 2009, the Bills traded pick number 5 to the Jets for number 17. So the Jets went from number 17 to number 5. They traded the Jets traded away their first rounder, which was number 17. They traded away a second rounder and 3 role players. I don't know who they were. So then we got examples here. By dropping within the top 10 picks, the Giants leave the door open to 1 or 2 of Brock Bowers, Neighbors, and Odunze, while adding a mid-round pick to fill a starting lineup hole at cornerback or safety. Moving into the number 11 to 13 range could bring into consideration the consensus top 2 cornerbacks, which would be Mitchell or Arnold, to be day 1 starters opposite of Banks. Now you got yourself your 2 edge rushers, you got yourself your 2 cornerbacks, right? And you get yourself an extra draft pick or so. What we got here? Marrying need to best available suggests speedy big play receiver Brian Thomas Jr. or one of 3 offensive tackles. I don't see the Giants drafting a tackle early on. I don't see that happening. No safeties are expected to be in the top 40 picks. A Giants-Vikings trade could net a package of Ike Thomas, number 11, and a defensive back, Cooper DeJean, number 23. Or Arnold at number 11 and Mitchell, a wide receiver at 23. So, so the Giants would have jumped back. The Giants, instead of picking 1 guy, they would get 2. They could fill 2 holes instead of just 1. But the thing is that, is it if instead of drafting Neighbors, then you got to think about, would you rather have Neighbors or would you rather have a cornerback and another wide receiver or something like that? Because, with Neighbors, you got yourself your dog. But something I'd have to figure out. A Giants-Bronco trade could result in Thomas or Arnold, another starter at number 76 or at number 121, and a future first-round pick. Or even a package that includes all-pro cornerback Patrick Surtain, who reportedly could be available. The thing is with Surtain is that you're going to need to pay the guy. It's not like you're drafting a cornerback and the guy at a pick 12 or 13, the cornerback might make $5 or $6 million a season. Well, Surtain's going to want probably about $20 million a season. So but you know what you got with Surtain. You know what you got, right? So you bring him in. You know you got yourself You got two real good cornerbacks, right? Two real good edge rushers. Your defense is off and running, baby. And you got Sexy Dexy and a Karake. You got 6 guys, 6 studs on defense. Pretty special, right? But I said the only thing I don't like about with the Surtain thing is that almost within, within a year or so, you're gonna need to pay the guy some big bucks instead of drafting a cornerback if you were to draft a cornerback in the first round, say number 11 or 12, okay, which I'd be fine with. But then you have the guy for 5 seasons, right, at a cheap rate. So a Giants-Raiders trade could look like maybe they take Thomas at number 13, a cornerback at number 44, and a safety at number 148. That would fill 3 holes for him. So certainly something to think about. Just something to think about. All right, then there's another thing here. Adam Schefter. Shifty. I mean, I really don't know. I mean, the one thing it just like boggles my mind. It's like, who do these guys know? Who the guys that are talking like on the Giants or all the other rosters or something like that? I gotta tell Shifty this. Let me call Shifty. I gotta tell him. Who the is picking the phone up and talking to that guy? Dude, it ain't none of your business what's going on in Big Blue area, right? Ain't none of your business, dude. Right? I mean, are you serious? I'm gonna pick the phone up and talk to this douche? You say I'm picking the phone up and talking to anybody? Dude, it ain't none of your business. I'm telling you nothing, man. You gotta be kidding me. Who the hell talks to these guys? Anyway, he's been hearing some stuff. So there's some rats out there eating cheese. So all right, so we got NFL insider Adam Schefter of ESPN revealed during an appearance on the Pat McAfee show that the Minnesota Vikings and Giants have been the most active teams as it pertains to possibly landing the 3rd overall pick. And I said, once again, who is calling this guy and telling him this stuff? The 2 teams in my mind that I've been able to ascertain that have been the most active calling up to number 3 have been the Vikings, who have been like the most active, right? And I think second, if we were going to quantify it, would be the New York Giants. That's what Shefty says. Schefter explained, according to Julius Stumbaugh at Bleacher Report, those are 2 teams that have expressed an interest in moving up to number 3. Vikings and Giants have repeatedly been mentioned as teams that could move up the draft order with a quarterback in mind. Multiple analysts suggested over the past week that Minnesota was the more likely of the 2 teams to get to pick number 3 or number 4. Now, I've been hearing that the Patriots might want a king's ransom to get up to number 3. So, says Patrick's de facto general manager, Elliot Wolf, said last week that the club is open for business regarding the 3rd pick, but teams insiders seem to believe Wolf will spend that asset on a quarterback unless the executive receives a so-called Godfather offer that includes more than 3 first-round selections. It's going to take a lot, and so I don't know ultimately if New England is going to move off that pick, Schefter said. New England may just stay right where it is. I still think the odds favor them staying where they are. Schefter told McAfee that the Vikings have shown the most interest in trading up for a quarterback. Patriots reporter Mark Daniels of Mass Live wrote that New England may ask for overall picks 11 and 23 this year, along with a first-round selection in 2025, and and from 2026 from Minnesota for a third overall. So if they're going to, I don't know, just from what it says here, if the Patriots are going to deal with the Vikings, they're going to get 11, 23. They're going to want their first-round pick from next season, and quite possibly for a third overall choice, maybe a third rounder in 2026 to go from 3 back to 11. So it'll be 3 first rounders and a third rounder. Whew, wow. On Monday afternoon, NFL insider Deanna Rossini of The Athletic hinted that Patriots team president Jonathan Kraft could have a heavy say in what the club does with the draft pick. Yeah, I mean, obviously, he's seen, he's seen the good and he's seen the bad. Kraft's seen what it is when you got Tom Brady, right? He's seen that. He's seen the good, and then he's seen what they have this past season with Mac Daddy Jones, right? So they need a quarterback. Zappy. Yeah, they need a quarterback. So he might say, and like I said, I can understand if somebody blows us out of the water. Well, that way we get 3 or 4 picks, and we can fill in our roster with those 3 or 4 picks, right? And we can work maybe next season or somewhere around getting a quarterback or whatever. But I mean, if they're in love with one of those top 3 quarterbacks, right? So whoever falls to them, May or Daniels. Right, whichever one of those guys falls to the Patriots at number 3, they just take them. Then they know, as far as they know, as far as they feel, right, they got themselves their quarterback, right, which is obviously the hardest position in all of sports to do. Not easy at all to draft or anything like that. So so I can certainly see where the Patriots would want a king's ransom for that number 3 overall pick. So, but. I mean, the Giants would not have to give up anywhere near as much as the Vikings would, because, I mean, the Patriots would only be going back to number 6 for the Giants. So we'll have to wait and see. But once again, saying that with the Giants might be like, we like Caleb Williams or we like Daniels. So when number 3 rolls around, if May's still there, we're out of here. We don't want May. We want Daniels or Williams. If Daniels or Williams is there at number 3, we'll be calling you. If not, we're not interested. Or the opposite, whatever. If Caleb Williams or May is there. If Caleb Williams or May is there, Drake May at number 3, we'll be calling you. Right? So I'll have to wait and see. As I said, also, I'd be shocked if, the Giants, the Giants have so many holes to fill. I mean, for them, and I tell you what, if they move up to number 3 and they give away like their first rounder, maybe their second rounder, next year's first rounder or something like that, they better be right with this quarterback. They better be right with this quarterback. All right, and we got, now what is this Zach Wilson? It just goes to show you, right? A couple of years ago, first round pick, high pick, this, that, and the other thing. A year or 2 later, the guy's getting traded away for like basically a bag of Doritos. Simply amazing. But maybe with Sean Payton in a new atmosphere and all that, maybe it'll work out good for him. But what does this mean now for the Giants? Zach Wilson, right? I mean, this is like the Jets are trading the number 2 overall pick in the draft. The 3 years ago, the 2021 draft, the number 2 overall pick to Denver. Basically, I think, let's say, New York gets a 6th-round pick, while Denver receives a 7th-round pick and Wilson. So basically, the Jets are trading away Wilson. Basically, they're getting back. They're giving away Wilson and a 7th rounder, and in return, they're getting a 6th rounder. Basically, they're getting like almost nothing. The number 2 overall pick 3 years ago, they're trading them away for basically absolutely nothing. So I'll tell you what, when you miss, and you miss big, boy, I'll tell you, You get like nothing in return for the guy. So now what does this mean for Denver? I don't think it really means that much because they're not drafting or they're not trading for Zach Wilson to be their starter, right? So if the Broncos are still, or if they're in the market for a top quarterback and they're thinking about maybe trading up with the Giants or somebody else or whatever to get one of these top 4 quarterbacks, they're still going to be in the market for that. It's not like, oh, we got Zach Wilson now, we're good. Our quarterback problems are gone. Thank you, Jesus. No, that's not the case. They still need. So if they were thinking about trading up for a quarterback in the first round, they're still thinking of that. So, but I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe Sean Payton can get some better results out of Wilson than the Jets could. We'll have to wait and see. But it does mean, right? Quite possibly, it does mean maybe not the first round. But, the Jets, because Aaron Rodgers, right, if he gets injured again, which is always a possibility. But, obviously Aaron Rodgers ain't going to be with the Jets forever. So somewhere along the line, the Jets are going to need themselves another quarterback. So look for the Jets maybe to be a little active. Maybe, hey, who knows, right? Maybe they could be for Knicks or Milton or Rattler or Penix or one of those guys, and maybe one of the later rounds. So keep an eye on that. But this Zach Wilson thing doesn't change, I don't think, anything at all for the Broncos. If they're still looking for, they were looking for a quarterback before Zach Wilson, they're still looking for a quarterback after him. That's all. All right, and then finally the Giants. Now I tell you what, this is a good draft here. If the Giants are trying to get an interior defensive lineman, now what I would like, as I said, what I really, really would love is that if we could get somebody next to Sexy Dexy, right? That would be really, I don't mean like a Jordan Riley or Ryder Anderson or DJ Davidson or something like that. I mean, let's get somebody really nice, right? And I don't mean Nacho. Can we get somebody else in there who's really, really good? I mean, I said, if we took a defensive lineman like in the second round or so, that would be freaking awesome. Somebody, because the Giants have done very well over the past like 25 years or so. They've drafted some pretty good guys in the second and third rounds, interior defensive linemen, right? And one of the last ones that I was thinking about I was talking about one of the videos they did about a week or two ago, whatever it was Dalvin Tomlinson. And Hill. Let's not forget about Hill too, right? I mean, we did like 3 years in a row. I think Dalvin Tomlinson was 17. I think Hill was 18, and Sexy Dexy was 19. I mean, boom, boom, boom. 3 real good studs. I mean, obviously, Sexy Dexy is the supreme one out of those 3. But 3 years in a row, with Dalvin Tomlinson, Hill, and Lawrence. Drafted some good guys, some good defensive tackles. I would like to see us get a nice young stud to put next to Sexy Dexy. Boy, I tell you what, that would be a heck of a front 4, boy. With Burns and Kayvon and then Sexy Dexy and somebody else. Whew. Now, the thing is here is that the Giants, if the Giants were to trade back, there's Newton and there's Murphy. All right, according to PFF, they got Newton as the 11th best 11th ranked player overall is Newton from Illinois. Okay. And then they got Murphy from Texas, Byron Murphy. He was the 2nd overall interior defensive lineman. 2nd overall in the whole country. 2nd out of 883 interior defensive linemen. All right, so he graded out really good. He graded out a 91.1. So, but I mean, if the Giants were to trade back, like with the Broncos, with the Vikings, or the Raiders, they could grab one of those couple guys, Murphy or Newton, and boy, that would be a fantastic front 4. Oh, or they could also go the route of a cornerback as well too. Who knows? or if they would, whatever. You hear the rumors once again that the Broncos are trying to trade up, and they would maybe thinking about trading Surtain. So if the Giants, swap with the Broncos and they fell back to where I was at a 12 where the Broncos are picking, and they got Surtain, so then they can take like maybe Newton or Murphy, and they get Surtain, so they can kill two birds with one stone, right? But then there's Fisk from Florida State. He would be in the second round if he makes it that far, because he's pretty good too. Then there's Jenkins from Michigan. Now, interestingly enough, PFF has Fisk from Florida State as their 44th overall ranked player. Jenkins from Michigan is their 50th overall. So if the Giants are picking at number 47, there's a chance they could possibly target one of those two guys in the second round. And you take one of those guys and put them next to Sexy Dexy, and that would be a great front four. Really, really good front four. I said, then there's a bunch of other guys. I mean, they got Brandon Dorlus, looks like from Oregon. Then, of course, there's the guy nobody can pronounce this guy's last name. And Rook or Horo, I think, from Clemson. Michael Hall Jr. from Ohio State. Trevondre Sweat. Now with him, he's some of these guys like Hall and Sweat, they got like 4th round grades on them. So I'll tell you what, the Giants could pick one of these guys up in the 4th round. Now, interestingly, Trevondre Sweat from Texas, 6'4", 362 pounds. He's according to PFF, he's their 122nd ranked player overall. Now with him, he was the number 1 graded interior defensive lineman overall by PFF. He graded out number 1. He graded out 91.7, but he shoots 362 pounds, 6'4". Whew, wow. Then there's a bunch of others. There's Wingo from LSU. There's Carter from Duke. Mason Smith from LSU. Leonard Taylor from the U. I mean, there's a lot of guys. Tyler Davis from Clemson. Logan Lee from Iowa. There are a bunch of guys. There's certainly, without question, a bunch of guys, that the Giants could target. Now, as I said, if the Giants were to slide back, I'm just, once again, just throwing stuff out there and trade, like I said, either with the Vikings, the Broncos, or the Raiders, they could target one of those really, really good interior defensive linemen, and that would give them a great front wall. Great front wall. Or I'm saying if they were to trade back, they could also target Brock Bowers, maybe. They can also target one of those really good cornerbacks as well, too. But you can get a real good, solid defensive lineman in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd round of this draft. So I'll have to wait and see. But I certainly would like to see the Giants make an effort to draft a lineman. And I said, because we took DJ Davidson later on, Ryder Anderson, undrafted free agent, Jordan Riley, a late round pick. Let's get, can we draft somebody a little on in the early side, right? Somebody who might be able to perform a little bit better than some of those other guys. I say, because to me, it all starts in the trenches, on the offensive line and on the defensive line. If you're on the defensive line, you can control those trenches. Fantastic. I mean, because if you're gonna, with Sexy Dex, you know what you got with him. He's gonna probably command a double team, right? If you can get somebody next to him that can command a double team as well, too. Now it's almost like pick your poison. It's almost like with our edge rushers. It's like, okay, which way are you going to slide the protection? You're going to slide it toward Kayvon, or you're going to slide it toward Burns. You can't slide it both ways. You pick your poison. You're gonna triple team Sexy Dexy. You're gonna slide it toward Burns. You're gonna slide it toward Kayvon. What are you gonna do, right? I'm saying, but if you can get that 4th guy, wow, that'd be a special front four. All right, guys, it's been 1 hour and 3 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you so much, guys. Only a couple nights away, baby. It's draft, yeah. So ever spent any time listening to me live, thank you, thank you, thank you. Or anybody's going to spend time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!